The flickering candlelight danced in Yusef's eyes, casting long shadows around the living room. It was a cozy scene, made even more so by the crackling fire in the hearth. Yusef was nestled deep in an armchair, a half-forgotten book resting in his lap. His gaze, however, was far from the printed page. It was lost in the distant past, a time when life was simpler, when laughter echoed freely. He was jolted back to the present by the soft voice of his wife, who was speaking to their son. "Do you remember when we were with Eyad on the trip?" she said, her tone laced with fondness. The word hung in the air, a forgotten melody. Yusef's lips curved into a smile. He remembered. But as the conversation continued, he noticed a puzzled expression slowly creeping onto his son's face. It mirrored the confusion that was beginning to stir within Yusef himself. He leaned forward, his voice raspy with disuse. "Who is Eyad?" he asked. The question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken memories. A ripple of surprise passed through the room. His wife's eyebrows shot up. "Eyad," she repeated, as if testing the name on her tongue. Then, as if a switch had been flipped, the room fell silent. All eyes turned to Yusef, searching for an answer, for an explanation. He laughed, a nervous, high-pitched sound that died quickly in the sudden quiet. It was only then that Yusef realized how deeply ingrained this memory was, not just in his past, but in the fabric of his being, as if the years had conspired to bury it, to keep it from his grasp. The weight of their expectant gazes pressed down on him, and in that moment, he felt the urgency of a life slipping through his fingers. But what to say? How could he explain something that defied explanation? He stood up abruptly, the silence stretching between them like a taut wire. "I'll be back," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. He needed to find Eyad not physically, but in the labyrinth of his own mind. He had to piece together the fragments of a forgotten friendship. The evening deepened, the fire in the hearth burning low. Yusef paced his darkened house, each room a silent witness to his internal struggle. The faces of his family, their brows furrowed with concern, were etched into his mind. He owed them an explanation, but the truth was elusive, hidden behind a wall of forgetfulness. As he rounded a corner, his eyes caught the glint of metal in the soft lamplight. On a shelf sat a tarnished metal cup, its surface engraved with the name Eyad. Yusef's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle? A tangible link to a forgotten past. He picked up the cup, its weight oddly comforting in his palm. And then, as if triggered by the contact, a rush of memories flooded his mind. Images of a shared past flickered like old home movies. He saw a younger version of himself, laughing, playing, sharing secrets with a friend named Eyad. But with each passing moment, the images grew fainter, more distant. Like smoke, they drifted through his fingers, leaving him with a sense of aching familiarity. Yusef stumbled back, his hand flying to his chest as if to stop the relentless pounding of his heart. The room seemed to spin, the walls closing in, suffocating him with their silence. The candle flame flickered once, twice, and then, with a final shudder, it went out. Darkness enveloped him. Not the comforting darkness of night, but a suffocating, all-consuming black. And then he heard a voice, a whisper that seemed to slither into his ear. "You were late," it hissed. "You were supposed to forget." Yusef's eyes flew open, his heart hammering against his ribs. He gasped for breath, struggling to make sense of the cryptic words that echoed in his mind. Was Eyad here with him in the darkness? Was this a trick of his memory, or something more sinister? The air grew colder, sending a shiver down his spine. The whisper seemed to mock him, taunting him with half-remembered secrets. In the struggle to piece together his fragmented past, Yusef had opened a door he might not have been meant to open. And now the darkness was seeping in, threatening to consume him.